If you are just given the access to Peaksel and you don't know where to start, this video is a good starting point. We'll cover the basics like uploading raw data to Peaksel, managing batches, uploading chemical structures and extracting chromatograms, editing those chromatograms, and creating reports. Here is what you'll initially see when you open Peaksel. There's a list of injections that aren't yet processed, and there's a separate tab where created batches reside. First, let's import our data. Peaksel reads native vendor formats. Here, for example, is a list of Agilent folders with raw data, and in order to upload them, I first zip them into a single file. And then just drop that zip onto a list of injections. Note that there are some constraints on the size of injections that you're uploading. Today the limit is 1 GB of raw data, but by the time you're using it, we may change that constraint. Anyway, you'll see a warning if you exceed the limit. After it's done, you can refresh the page and see the list of new injections. You can also set up Peaksel to import data automatically from the folders where instruments put the raw data. But we won't go into automatic imports in this video. To make things more interesting, I uploaded a bigger set of injections, 192 of them. Notice that they all start with the same prefix. This makes it much easier to create batches. I'll put the prefix into the search field. And as you can see, this filtered out exactly 192 injections. Should I not see some of my injections that I expected, I could find the problematic ones on this page. Now I'm ready to create a batch. Peaksel already predetermined a possible name for me, and it looks satisfactory. Clicking Next creates a batch, and within it, we can see our plates. Peaksel can handle thousands of injections per batch, but to keep things swift, it's advisable to stay under 3,000 injections. Apart from the plates, we can see a list of substances. These are just summary of aliases that repeat across all the injections, and each injection may have a different chemical structure or molecular formula under these names. But where did they come from? Well, in this case, structures were embedded right in the raw files. But if that weren't the case, we could easily upload a CSV file with all the structures and associated injection names. We'll return to this later. Right now, let's just take a look at our chromatograms. Here we have only one substance added, which means there is only one EIC. The peaks were automatically detected, but as you can see, there are no peaks on one of the UV chromatograms. This means there is something wrong with the integration method. Let me lower some of the thresholds. As you can see, now the peak can be detected, and after I apply the changes, it is. There's a separate tutorial on the integration algorithm. You can find a link to it in the description to this video. But note that instead of applying integration method to just one of the chromatograms, I could apply it to the whole batch. Let's take a look at the neighboring injection. It seems like the problem exists throughout the batch. So I'll return back and we'll apply the integration algorithm globally, which will reintegrate all such chromatograms. And done. Let's double check our neighbor, and everything looks good. There are other batch processing capabilities. For instance, I can align detector runs by dragging on x-axis, and after that I can apply it to other injections. Now let's check that it worked, and it did, and now let's revert back the changes. On this page, you can also edit peaks manually. I can edit peak boundaries, move it, delete it with a right click, recreate it. And if I have more chromatograms with the same compound, I can again apply the same peak boundaries on all of them, which I just did. There are keyboard shortcuts that can simplify and speed up chromatogram processing. You can find them all here. Okay, I promised I'll show you how to add substances to all injections with the file upload. Since the chemical structures were embedded in the raw data, I don't really have such file, but I can create one right in Peaksel. This is a good segue into how you can build batch-level reports. So we need a CSV or Excel file that contains all the substances and which injections we want to add them to. And while we can't export a list of substances from the batch at the moment, what we can do is export all the EIC chromatograms, which is almost the same thing. So we first create a table with all peaks in it. We'll need injection name, substance alias, its molecular formula, and a couple of other columns. This list contains all chromatograms, including total ion chromatograms and UV, so we want to filter them out first. Our expression will say column chromatogram name must contain word EIC. But also, we could have got more than one peak of the same substance on any chromatogram. And we have a column largest peak that says which of these peaks has the largest area. Only one of them can be the largest, so this way we can get rid of other peaks and have only one row per EIC in the table. The input CSV file must have molecular formula or structure as the first column, substance alias as the second column, and injection name has to be the third column, which is already the case. The table is ready. You can build all sorts of reports this way. What's left is to export it as a CSV file. And done. Let me open it in Excel. And since it was a CSV file, we need to tell Excel to turn this into a table. We don't need the last two columns. And now we are ready to upload this file. But before doing this, we need to remove all our existing substances and their EIC chromatograms. As you can see, the table is empty, no peaks, no EIC chromatograms, and we upload the file. There are 186 rows in the table, which are going to be mapped to 144 injections. So almost 200 EIC chromatograms are going to be created right now, which actually they already did. We can highlight injections where peaks were detected, and let's just go and check that there are actually EIC chromatograms with peaks. I hope we covered the basics. There is much more to learn about Peaksel, but this video was intended only as an introduction. And you can find more information in the description to this video or on our official website.